told reporters that he had questioned a witness who had refused to answer when asked. I paid a Soviet spy, and noted that the witness had access to secret files on direction by radar.
Harvey Sachs did not testify publicly. Leonard E. Minns, born 1900, died 1988, and Sylvia Berg, born 1920, died 1977, testified publicly on December 14th, and Benjamin Wolman on December 15th, 1953. Thursday, October 22nd, 1953. U.S. Senate. Senate Permanent Subcommittee on Investigations to the Committee on Government Operations. New York, New York.
The subcommittee met at 8 p.m. pursuant to recess in room 29, Federal Building, New York. Senator Joseph R. McCarthy, Chairman, presiding. Present, Senator Joseph R. McCarthy, Republican, Wisconsin. Present also, Roy M. Cohn, Chief Counsel, Francis Carr, Staff Director, Daniel G. Buckley.
The chairman. Mr. Wolman, will you raise your right hand and be sworn?
In this matter here now before the committee.
In this matter before the following committee, do you solemnly swear to tell the truth?
Mr. Wolman. Mr. Wolman. Mr. Wolman.
Accompanied by his counsel.
Will you note counsel is Victor Abramowitz?
Counsel is Victor Abramowitz.
I am in the public school system.
Now, Mr. Woolman, what is your
Public
occupation?
school.
Where is that?
Where is
Brooklyn?
that?
Yes.
In Brooklyn? What do you teach?
What do you teach there?
What do you teach
I
there?
am assistant principal.
What do you teach there?
And for how long a period of time have you
Just under a year.
Sir, I can't hear.
Just under a year.
And what were you before that?
Social
What
studies.
did you teach?
Before that? What did you teach?
Social studies and
And also when I
economics.
had a different kind of
Social
program.
studies and economics.
The elementary school might have.
For how long a period of time were you teaching?
How long a period of
For
time?
that, in the elementary school for 3 years.
Was there ever a time that you were with the Signal
At
Corps?
Fort Monmouth.
When were you with the Signal
I can
Corps?
give you the exact date.
Would you
Would
do
you
that,
that,
sir?
sir?
Let me tell you what it was. I was an officer candidate. I was in candidate school for some time toward the end of December 1942, for the period of the 3 months that the school ran. And I got my commission in March the 22nd or 23rd, 1943. I was there longer than that. I got a leave of absence after that, and then was sent to a course called Fundamentals of Electricity. My recollection is that it was not at Fort Monmouth, but at Asbury
have it
Park.
that you are now
but
the
it was
assistant
same
principal?
gentleman.
Now, Mr.
Now, Mr.
Wolman,
Woolman, now, Mr. Woolman.
before that you taught social studies?
In high school. 18 years prior to that, in elementary school.
And you were at the Signal Corps down in Monmouth?
In
No, sir.
1943 and
I
44.
didn't say
The record indicated that.
1943 and
For the exact date of transfer.
Were you not inducted into the Signal Corps in May 42?
As an officer in March 43. Let me explain. When I went to the Army, I went through basic training and then was shipped out to Texas. Now, May 1942 was my name induction.
Mr. Cohn,
That's all right.
December 42 to, let's say, July or so.
At that time, when you were at Fort Monmouth,
No, sir.
have you ever been a member of the Communist Party?
Have you ever been a member of the Communist Party?
I don't think so. Certainly none that I knew was a Communist Party meeting. No, I can say I never
Was
attended.
there any doubt about it in your mind?
Are you sure you never attended one of these meetings?
so that he had never attended any Communist Party meetings?
You can consult with counsel
I
anytime
explained
you
to him that barring the situation,
Now,
now, was
I can't
Mrs.
even think of
Wolman
that.
a member of the Communist Party?
Now, was Mrs. Wolman a member of the Communist Party?
I have been informed that I have the privilege to protect conversations between husband and wife. I would like to stand.
Did you ever attend any Communist Party meetings with your wife?
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you, what's first name, Diane?
Did you ever attend any Communist Party meetings with your wife? Did your wife ever ask you to attend any Communist Party meetings?
I claim my privilege on that, sir.
You mean the husband and wife privilege?
Husband and wife privilege?
Did your wife ever discuss with you her membership in the Communist Party?
In the presence of anyone other than the two of
In other
you?
words, when a third person is present. Your answer is no.
Was your wife a communist prior to your
You
marriage?
do not know whether she was or not.
Did she ever mention to you that she was a communist before you
sir.
married her?
Did you have any
Did you have any reason to believe that she was a communist before you married her?
Not whether the question arose.
Wife was a
Did you have any reason to believe your wife was a communist?
Before you married her,
I realize the distinction being made.
There is no privilege
I would
between
say
girlfriend
no.
and boyfriend.
you would
No.
say
You
no.
would say
Ask the
no.
question again so I know what I'm answering, please.
Did you,
prior to your marriage,
to
Have
your
any
wife,
reason to suspect she might be a communist?
The question I have just raised here is on the question of knowledge, or something that I knew was a fact, or heard was a fact, outside the area of marriage privilege. I could answer whether I did or did not know, but you asked me whether I had any of these reasons for suspecting, and I think that comes into a sort of
Let us hear your conjecture.
Let us hear your conjecture.
You are here before this
Mr.
committee
Mr. Abramowitz.
No, you may not.
No,
see
you
the
may not.
Suggest to your client.
Well, it is more or less as I presented it. It is a question of conjecture, and I don't see how I can, in fairness to the committee or to myself, attempt to give anything like the kind of answer one can give on fact.
What is your
What is
answer?
your answer?
To the question on conjecture, I mean, you're really asking me to make a
I
You
asked you
asked me
a
to
simple
guess.
question.
guess.
You're an assistant.
You are an
You
assistant
should
principal
have
of a
enough
school.
intelligence to understand the question.
No, I understand the question. No.
Then answer.
Then answer. The answer is
Grounds
no.
for making insufficient grounds for making that kind of guess.
Did you ever have any suspicion before you were
This is what I
married?
mean.
Let me finish the
Did
question.
you ever have any suspicion?
Did you have any suspicion before
That your
you
wife
married?
was a communist?
communist?
Yes, and I would have to say no.
The answer no.
No.
Is the answer no? Did you have
That
any
she might be a
suspicion?
communist
That she might be a
sympathizer?
communist sympathizer?
Mister, we know something about you. I would not be here.
Some grounds.
We know something about
I just want to tell you something for your own protection.
it. We know something
We know
about
something
you, or
about
you
you.
would
You would
not
not
be
be
here.
here.
You can go ahead and commit perjury if you care to.
You will
I
not
do
be the
not
first
care.
witness
Not
in this
be
hearing.
the first
who's
witness
done
in
it.
this hearing who has
But do
done
not
it.
think that you can play with this
But
committee.
do not think you can play with this committee.
Or refuse
I
it.
would suggest to you that you either tell the truth
Trying to tell the truth as well as I can. You asked me a question. However, that is a guess.
Mr. Cohn.
I would suggest that you better try a little harder.
Mr. Cohn,
Mr. Cohn. You do not need to do any
In
guessing.
1946. In November 1946.
Did you have
Was
any
a
reason
communist
to believe that
sympathizer
your
before you
wife-
married
On the
him?
basis I answered before, I don't think so.
Yes or no?
Yes or
No.
Nothing
In
came
other
to your
words-
attention which would give you any reason to suspect.
Your wife might be either a
Or
communist.
communist sympathizer.
or a
Is that
communist
correct?
sympathizer.
I
Is
am
that
not
correct?
assuming anything.
I am
not
asking you a
assuming
question.
anything.
I am asking you a
No,
question.
I am
No.
asking you a question.
I'm asking you a question.
I will ask it
Did
again,
anything ever
Ever
come to your attention?
Which might
prior
give
to
you
your
any
marriage?
reason to suspect.
which might give you any reason to suspect
That
or
your wife
think.
might be a communist or a communist sympathizer.
Mr. Abramowitz.
Surely you can take him into the back of the room if you want.
Surely you can take him into the back of the room if you want to.
The chairman.
Testimony of Benjamin.
Rather than have the reporter try to find the last question.
Let me re-ask the question.
Prior to your marriage,
Did anything occur that gave you any reason to suspect a communist sympathizer?
Asking me something it is almost impossible to put a finger on. The question of
just answer! I do not want a speech from you!
It's not an answer, I will say no, but I think it is unfair to ask you a question, answer you a question as intangible.
You cannot recollect anything that occurred prior to your marriage.
Recollect anything prior to your marriage
That your wife might be a communist or a communist sympathizer.
That your wife might be a communist.
Is the answer no?
Yes.
Is the answer no?
Is the
Oh, I
answer
know
no?
it is awfully unfair to ask.
Whether your wife was a communist.
Whether
Whether your wife was a
communist.
communist.
Mr. Cone! Mr. Cone!
It's Mr. Cone!
You were married November 3rd, 1946. About that
Specifically in
time.
1943 and 1944. At the Ford Continental
Wife,
Corporation.
in charge of the export department.
Was she ever connected with the Ford Continent Book Corporation?
Was she ever connected with the Four Continent Book Corporation?
I plead the privilege of
You are not entitled to that privilege.
This goes to a period before the marriage. This goes to a previous period before the marriage.
I submit that this is not a confidential communication.
This would not be a confidential communication with
This would not be confidential communication with your wife.
I never knew my wife.
I asked a direct answer.
I would like to get some I have been giving you the answers.
I would like to get some truthful answers.
And I assume you know something about what she did just prior to your marriage.
This was not just prior to
No, she was connected with the Ford Continental at any time.
At any time? At any time.
Leaving out those dates because that I believe.
Why do you stall about that?
Let me ask you something.
We are
Why
going
do you
to stay
stall
here
about
and
that?
get the truth from you.
We are going to stay here.
We are
Why are you
going
afraid
to
to
stay
tell
here
counsel?
and get the truth from you.
Why are you
Why
afraid to tell the truth?
counsel?
Know those dates. That I come to you.
Mr. Cone. The Ford Continent Book Corporation.
You know that she was a former Continental Book Corporation.
You taught social studies, did you not?
You taught social studies, did you not? You never heard of the Ford Continental Book Corporation?
In connection
This is the
with
first
your
you've ever heard of it.
This is the
Or your
first
wife
you've
heard that.
Yes, sir.
Or your wife.
Privileges.
Now when I ask you if you heard that from your wife,
Let me ask you,
did you ever hear from anyone
that this organization was a communist-controlled outfit from anyone, including your wife?
From anyone, including your wife?
Differentiated. I said I stand on the
anyone?
Anyone on earth.
Anyone.
Anyone.
From anyone.
And I include every person you know.
Did you hear from anyone?
That it was a communist-controlled outfit.
Sir,
Every person.
with regard to my wife, yes. With regard to the others, I have answered truthfully, sir. With regards to anyone else, the answer is no.
The question is,
While I am asking you a question, you will be quiet.
communist-controlled organization.
Did you ever hear from
Does that
anyone?
include your wife?
What is your answer? Or are you accepting her from it?
Only in order to keep this privilege of a married couple.
No!
No! No!
I just want to suggest Mr. Combs. I'm sorry.
As your counsel advised, I hope she will advise.
Because of the law, there is no general
If a
privilege.
confidential communication between you and your wife is involved,
If a confidential communication between you and your wife is involved,
only be claimed to
it can only be claimed with respect to a specific question. To a confidential communication made in the court.
That understanding, I've tried to answer. When the question was made with regard to everyone else, the answer was no, and I stated.
Were you a member?
May I make the point?
Were you a member?
I don't know whether anyone ever mentioned the place to me, but I did hear the name. But you raise another question. Did I know whether the Four Continent was part of something else? And to that, I told you no.
Were you in 1947?
A member of the Brownsville Communist.
Brownsville section of the Communist Party.
Did you attend
No,
meetings
sir.
of the Brownsville section of the Communist Party?
In
And if
1947.
witnesses come here and say you did,
And they attended with you, they're lying? Is that your testimony?
Is that your testimony?
I say if any witnesses have sworn to that,
They are not.
never
They
attended.
never attended. Did you ever
Did you
attend
ever attend any Communist Party meetings in your
Ever
life?
attended any Communist Party meetings in your life?
Did your wife ever attend any Communist Party meetings?
Does your wife
That
ever
will not
attend
be
any Communist Party meetings?
That will not be privileged.
That will
She
not be
attended a meeting, then
privileged.
she could not be
There's
alone.
nothing privileged about her.
If she attended
attending
meetings, she
ordered
would
to
not.
answer.
You are ordered to answer.
You ordered to answer.
You are
You are
ordered
ordered
to
to
answer. Do you
answer.
still refuse?
And the record showed that the witness has been ordered to
Whether his
tell.
wife attended
Have the record show that the
Let the
witness
chair
has
have
been
the record
ordered to
show
tell.
Whether his
that there
wife
is nothing
attended communist
confidential.
meetings.
Let the chair have the
The
record
chair
show
has instructed
It is not
that there is nothing confidential.
about her attending a meeting attended by other
He does
communists.
not have
And
the
he still
privilege.
refused to answer.
Cone, was the Communist Party meeting ever held at the Hall?
Mr. Cohn.
Not to my knowledge. Let's say any time when I was that would be the one day.
You were not present?
Was not in the house.
Any chairman
Did anyone ever tell you?
Did you ever have any reason to believe?
Did you ever have any reason to believe? Yes.
You are an assistant principal. Mr. Cone. And you are the principal.
Talk social studies and everything else.
When I ask you, it is a matter of conjecture. It is a difficult question. There were communist meetings held at your home.
any doubt about it in your mind?
Is the answer no?
Is there any doubt
You don't think so?
Is there any doubt about it in your mind?
Is there any doubt about it in your mind?
That is a pretty important point.
Believing there was such a meeting.
You are saying to us categorically
That there is no reason whatsoever, including what your wife told
I
you.
have except for the husband and wife privilege. My answer is
You have waived the
When
privilege.
you said that nothing ever came to your attention.
You have waived the privilege, mister.
The Communist Party in your home.
So you have
Your wife.
waived your attention.
There was a communist meeting in your home. That would include your wife. You cannot assert that privilege.
indicate that there is a relationship between myself and my
You will
wife.
answer the
I
council's
stand
question.
on privilege.
Because you have waived the privilege.
You are ordered to.
I still
You will be ordered to answer.
you will be ordered. You will be ordered to. Did you attend Communist Party meetings in 1945?
Communist Party.
Mr. Chairman, I do not want to ask this witness any more questions.
I don't want to ask this.
I think it is a waste of time.
He is in contempt of the committee and has
The
committed
last
perjury.
question was
Did you ever attend any
with
Communist Party
Diana
meetings?
The
Mulder.
last question was
In 1945,
Did you ever attend
with Diana
Party
Mulder.
meetings?
I said no early.
Did you ever attend any Communist Party meeting?
Did you ever
Let me
attend any
finish the question now.
Communist meetings?
Did you ever attend any Communist Party meetings?
What was your wife's name prior to marriage?
Did you ever attend any meetings of the Young Communist League?
Did anyone
What was your
invite
wife's
you
name
and
prior to
Diana
marriage?
Mulder for meetings of the Young Communist League?
To attend Communist Party meetings?
And Diana
That she
Mulder
was a member of the Communist Party?
She's a member of the Communist Party.
Did she ever?
Did Diana Mulder ever indicate she was a member of the Communist Party?
Member of the Communist
That
Party.
she was engaged to a
Member of the Communist Party.
Principal of your high school.
You will consider yourself under subpoena.
What is
Did
his
any
first
students
name?
ever attend any meetings in your home?
What is his first name?
Students ever attended?
Well, were they ever present in your home?
Is your wife a teacher today? Is she a member of the Communist Party?
Did you ever attend any meetings with your students outside of the school?
Did you ever attend any meetings with your students outside of the school?
Do you know a man named Dave Max? Did you ever attend a communist meeting with him?
No, sir.
You were never in the same section of the Communist Party with him.
Yes.
That is your sworn testimony.
Yes.
Mr. Abramowitz.
That is your sworn testimony.
She was home at 10:30. Did your wife teach today?
Was she out?
We have been served last night.
Was she out
What is the name of the doctor?
Chairman.
What is his
Chairman.
Call Dr.
What is the name of the doctor?
His office address is 179 First Street.
And what is his first name?
Mr. Cone.
Mr. Cone. What is his first name?
E-I-S-E-N-S-T.
That you called the doctor to attend your wife?
Is it your testimony?
That you called to attend your
Come
wife?
over here and sit down
Yes.
And he told her that she could not testify tonight?
this afternoon. And he told her she could not testify tonight?
He told you that he had been over there? Your wife told me?
He told you that he had been over there?
It was in a phone conversation.
Did your wife tell you that the doctor told her?
I don't know.
Did your wife tell you that the doctor told her?
How was she? She was in bed at the time I left the house, as a matter of fact. About 6:30.
Was she all right last night when you were served with the subpoena?
Was she all right last night when you
I
were served
imagine
with the
reasonably well. There was no
subpoena? Was
reason
she all
to
right last
suspect
night when you were served with the subpoena?
See her illness.
Why could she not testify tonight?
What is wrong with her?
Why could she not testify tonight?
She told me on the phone that the doctor had said a virus.
What's wrong with her?
I assume.
Was she out this morning?
I didn't ask her. Well, frankly, I
Was she
know
out of
that
the
she
house?
was.
Was she out this morning?
Yes, she was.
Where did she go this morning?
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 She was perfectly all right then, was she not?
She was perfectly all right then, was she not?
Probably upset anyway, as far as that was concerned. In terms of the usual symptoms of a virus or a cold, I didn't see any.
When did she first complain that she was sick?
I would say when we got home, it must have been about 2:30. When I was there, yes, sir. As I say, I left before the doctor came.
Until we
Step down, you will wait out in the anteroom.
Monday, November 4th, 1953. U.S. Senate Permanent Subcommittee on Investigation of the Committee on Government Operations, New York, New York, New York. Senate Resolution 40, agreed to January 30, 1953, in Room 36, Federal Building, New York. Senator Joseph R. McCarthy, Chairman, presiding. Present, Senator Joseph R. McCarthy, Republican, Wisconsin. Present also, Francis Peacock, Executive Director, Roy M. Cohn, Chief Counsel, G. David Shaw,
Do you solemnly swear that the
matter now in
testimony you are
hearing
about to
shall be the truth, the whole truth, and the testimony you're about to give. I say we call this witness first.
Mrs. Wolman.
Because we understand she would like to get
Let me
home.
have your full name.
Diana Wolman.
Reside.
505 Albany Avenue, Brooklyn, New York.
Reside.
Have you ever worked for the Signals Corps?
I'm not certain. I think it's
Reside.
probably 1942.
And where were you stationed? And where were you stationed? Where?
Yes.
Where I was working?
Yes.
I worked in Kearney during the summer.
And where were you
and I
stationed?
went to New York.
Where?
to Wolverton and White Plains.
What was the
What was
nature
the
of your
nature of your
duties?
duties?
I did what they call mechanical inspection. I inspected equipment, counted it to make sure it was counted right.
And have you
I
ever
don't
worked
remember
for the
having heard
Signal
that
Corps?
word before.
When?
I have been reading it in the papers. I don't know.
Did you have access to
And
Did you have
where?
access to material not open
Where?
to the public?
I don't know. This was wartime.
Did you have access to...
Were you a member of the Communist
Were you a
Party?
member of the Communist
What
Party?
was the nature of your duties?
At that time, was employed by the
Where? I'd like to avail myself of that.
Where?
Teacher.
Where?
Thomas Jefferson High School, Brooklyn. Site conservation. My
What is your
husband's a
occupation?
teacher of site
Where?
conservation.
Are you a member of the Communist Party
Communist
today?
I
Party.
avail myself of the
Communist
not
Party.
witness
What do you
against
teach?
my
Communist Party.
Site conservation.
Communist
I help
Party.
students with four visions.
Communist
I don't
Party.
teach any particular subject. These students take all the same subjects. I read aloud to them or whatever their homework is. But it's a special kind of license.
That goes across
That
whatever
goes
subjects
across
they might
whatever
be
subjects
taking.
they might be teaching.
We try to get talking records from the library for the blind ones so they won't strain their eyes. We give them help to get their work done. We type large copies of examinations.
Do you do any actual
The
instruction?
chairman.
English
The
classes.
chairman.
The chairman.
The chairman.
But chairman!
You are not a communist.
You are or are you are not a communist.
You are not.
It is to your
You
benefit to
are
say
or you
so.
are not a communist.
If
you are not, you should avail
Do
yourself
not
of
incriminate yourself to say you are not, because you are.
Most likely result in the
will
loss
most
of your
likely
job.
result in the loss of your job.
This refusal to tell us whether or not you are part of the Communist Party.
To tell us when you broke with it and all the facts.
To tell us when you broke with it and all the facts. If you have not
You couldn't incriminate yourself by saying
So
no.
answer would incriminate you.
You couldn't incriminate yourself by saying no.
If we ask you, are you a communist today?
That you
If we ask you, are you a
That
communist?
is notifying your superiors in the school
You're a
system.
communist. That is notifying your superiors in the school system.
That's what I'd like it to remain. That's right.
Where were you born?
How old were you when you left Russia?
Mr. Cohn.
After
After you left the Signal Corps, where did you go to
I
work?
want to avail myself of the Fifth Amendment.
Refused to answer that question? What corporation?
When you were in the Signal Corps,
Did you participate in communist activities?
a single employee, Signal Corps?
Do you know of anyone?
You knew it there when you were there who was a communist?
Do you know of anyone?
In other words, there was no trouble with you in the
in
Signal
other
Corps.
words, there was no.
Do you know of anyone?
In other words,
You don't know whether or not any of those people are still working there.
I'm just trying to get clear.
Whether you are saying none of those you knew as communists are working for the Signal Corps.
No.
Fifth Amendment.
Any person that
Any
you
person
working
that
there,
you be working there?
now tell me.
Any communists in the Signal Corps went there.
Are there any teachers in the New York school system who are communists today?
Do you indoctrinate any of your pupils in communism?
No, I don't.
How old are the students you teach?
15 to 18.
Did you ever attempt to recruit any of them? Have you ever attempted to recruit
Have you ever attempted to
any
recruit any of them to any
Have you ever
Have you ever done any representative of your organization?
Have you ever met?
Were you ever instructed instructed by the Communist Party?
Were you ever instructed by the Communist Party?
I think, Mr. Cohn, this is swayed the privilege.
Were you ever? She has answered the question as to whether or not she indoctrinated any. To indoctrinate your students here. I will order you to answer the question. In that general area.
Did you ever attend any Communist Party meetings?
Did you ever attend any Communist Party
with your
meetings?
students?
Who got you?
Did you ever discuss communism with your students?
Did you know anyone there at the time who assisted you in applying? Who did you give as references?
It is such a long
Did you know anybody working there?
You were single? Your maiden name is Moldover?
Assistant principal in an elementary school.
Have you had communist meetings in your home? Is that an elementary school in the city?
Be a member of the Communist Party. Have you had a Communist Party in your home?
What does PS mean?
Approximately.
What is the age range to that school?
So you know what the average range is?
You talked to him, told you.
I guess normally 12 to 14.
Whether your husband is a communist on the grounds?
And you refuse to tell us
Whether your husband is a communist or not?
that your answer might tend
Would
to
you notify
incriminate
him?
you.
How long have you been married?
How long have you been married?
Have you ever engaged in espionage?
First husband you're married to? Have you ever engaged in
Information
espionage?
about the material you were working on.
Or information about the material you were working on?
Secret information. Secret information.
To people who you knew were communists.
Secret information.
Did you ever discuss it with any member of the Communist Party?
The question is,
Fifth Amendment.
were you attending Communist Party meetings at the time you were working in the city or New York City? Who got you the job?
Now, when you filed an application for employment,
Functionary of the Communist Party.
February 18th, 1948, and I'm were you telling the truth?
You are ordered to notify the committee.
If and when you're suspended from your job?
If and when you are suspended from your job,
Have apparently wisely taken the position.
the school board, the Board of Education,
Communists are not created.
that communists should not teach children.
There is no such thing as academic freedom.
As they are told what they
I
must teach.
assume that they will discharge you immediately, and rightly so.
I assume they will discharge you immediately, rightly so.
You can do it either by phone or by registered mail.
If you do it by phone,
If you do it by registered
If
mail,
you do it by phone, you can make a
the
collect
committee
call
will
to
pay
the
for any
committee.
expenses connected to it.
by registered mail.
The committee will pay for any expenses connected to it.
Yes.
You are Benjamin Wolman. You have appeared before this committee before.
You are Benjamin Wolman. You have appeared before this committee before.
Are you a member of the Communist Party? Is your wife a member of the Communist Party? Will you submit it to us?
Are you a member of the
Will it be
Communist
put in
Party?
the record?
Will you submit it to
Is
us?
your wife a member of the Communist Party?
I wish to object to further examination by this committee on the following
I wish to object to further examination by this committee.
On the following ground.
My
One.
first examination is not
not
within the jurisdiction of this committee.
Indicated by my first examination.
An investigation into matters such as subversive activities
espionage,
is
related
specifically
subjects,
The efficiency and community of communist government.
I have never been a civilian employee of the United States or with Fort Monmouth. Such connection is now almost 10 years old
and cannot have any possible
as economy of government operations. Even if
Such connection is almost 10 years old.
the committee does have the right in government departments that I engaged in no such activity and that I have had no connection with
I engage in no such activity.
Most of the questions asked by the committee
cannot possibly have any relevance to any legislative inquiry. Questions as to whether prior to my marriage
Whatever the jurisdiction of this committee might be.
relates only to my state of
I
mind
suspected that
prior
my
to
wife might be sympathetic to communism.
Could not be possibly relevant to legislative investigation.
Not possibly be relevant to legislative investigation. The tenor of
Could not possibly be relevant to
a legislative inquiry and was in the
And was in the
the
opinion of
manner in which
counsel
the investigation was
legislative
conducted.
inquiry.
I have already testified at length before this
and
committee
my
and
testimony has established my lack of familiarity
With any of the subjects
according to
which
the press.
The committee is now investigating.
With any of
Any
the
further
subjects
examination on the
into
subjects will therefore be a
The
repetition
committee
of
is
what I
now
have already been
investigating.
asked and will result in unnecessary harassment and
which
annoyance
a
of me.
repetition of what I've already been asked.
Not only is this questioning a matter of personal
Not only
inconvenience
is
and
this
expense,
question a
but it
matter
is
of
also an
questioning.
interference with the administration
Not only
of
is
the
this
school that I
questioning
have
a
employed
matter of
also
personal
In a position for which no
I have come to
substitute is
school
available,
ill, as have some of our
as have
teachers,
some of our teachers.
because I know that my absence would work a hardship on them.
I have gone to school ill.
I have been excused from jury duty because of the nature of my assignment and duties.
The chairman.
I've been excused from the jury duty.
Because of the nature of my assignment and duties.
The chairman.
Inconvenience very
By
badly.
communist
Lots
and
of boys and
espionage
children.
We're inconvenienced very badly.
Very badly.
Have you ever
Have
been
you
a
ever been a
member?
member?
That will be put in the record.
As your wife is a member of the Communist Party.
To which I plead the privilege, the answer is no.
Whether you learned she was a communist in conversation with her?
Yes.
What was her wife doing when you married her?
I am trying to think back when she was at Thomas Jefferson High School.
As a matter of fact, your wife was teaching at a communist training school.
No, sir.
Did your wife teach at Jefferson School of Social
I
Science?
have taught Russian.
Don't you know that it was a communist school?
For my marriage.
All right.
Don't you know that it is a communist school?
Is this the first time that you have heard that the Jefferson School?
I have seen accusations in the newspapers.
What do you think of those accusations?
I have no way of knowing if those accusations.
Have you ever heard anyone deny that it was a communist school?
Well denied, I don't think.
Before you married her?
When did you get married?
Did you ever ask your wife whether she was a communist or not?
But you knew that she had been teaching at a
You
school.
didn't?
Alleged to be a
Is that
communist
right?
school.
You knew at the time it had been named
You knew at the
as a
time that
It was
communist
alleged to be a
school.
communist school.
Before 1946. I don't know whether it was alleged before that.
You knew your wife was teaching at the school.
Which was publicly named as a communist school.
You knew your
I
wife was
don't know
teaching
if
at the
it was
school.
How long?
Which
how
was
long have you been
publicly
teaching?
named as a communist school.
How long have you been teaching?
How long have you been teaching?
That the Jefferson School was a well-known...
You say you never had any knowledge.
Jefferson School is well-known.
That it was a well-known communist training school.
When did you first learn it?
Ever teach social studies in New York?
What is a well-known communist training school?
Did you ever teach social studies in New York?
School is not a
The
communist
Jefferson School is not a communist school?
None whatsoever.
Is it your opinion that the Jefferson School is not a communist school?
Whether it's a communist school?
None whatsoever? Have you ever talked to your wife about whether or not it is a communist school? You refuse to answer?
Whether your wife had been teaching at a communist school? You are ordered to answer the question.
Were you interested in knowing?
Whether your wife ever taught at a communist school?
Were you interested in knowing?
Communist school.
It didn't come up, so the answer would
You were not interested to know whether she taught at a
I
communist
asked
school?
you whether, when getting married, you were interested.
I'm not asking you whether the case
I asked you whether getting married you were interested.
whether or not your wife taught at the communist school.
Or was then teaching at a communist school.
Whether you were interested
I asked you whether you were
I am
interested.
not asking.
You're going to answer no.
Is no a truthful answer?
No is a truthful answer.
Is no the
Is
truthful
no a
answer?
truthful answer?
Did you have any interest in that?
Were you interested in whether or not your wife was a communist when you married her?
The question never arose. How could I have interest in it?
Were you interested in knowing whether your wife was a communist?
The question I asked you.
You are ordered to answer the question.
You are ordered to answer the question.
Yes, this is a very good time.
Yes, this is a very good time.
What was your wife doing when you married her? Was she teaching?
Yes.
Was she teaching at the Jefferson School?
Teaching in the public school system at the time. Public high school.
I would like to enter in the record the catalog of the Jefferson
For
School.
1945 and
1946.
Reflecting the name of Diana.
As the instructors, the Soviet literature?
Soviet literature.
Of the four continent bookshop.
I knew she worked.
Did you know that the bookshop
When did you hear that for the first time? Was completely owned and controlled by the Communist Party? When did you hear that for the first time?
For the first time.
A couple of weeks ago. Yeah.
Did you ever attend communist meetings?
Did you ever attend?
Do you know a man by the name of David Flax?
You don't have any idea. You know you are under oath.
No, you are under oath at 144 Carroll. Did you ever attend communist meetings?
No, that's really taken over as a share.
Did you ever attend a meeting in her home?
At 729 East 43
Leon.
Was he a communist?
You know.
Did you ever meet a communist as far as you know in your life?
You know.
I have known people who were communists, but
Did you know?
personally.
Are you including your wife in that answer or not including her?
Did you know?
Are you including your wife in that?
Are you including your wife in that answer or not including?
Are you including your wife in your answer or you're not including her?
Did you know?
Yes.
The desirability of
privilege.
communist
You
form
use the
of-
privilege.
We want to know whether you use the privilege.
How about
The desirability
We want
of
to know whether you believe
think
it.
that is a pretty good system for them. With respect
What about Russia? You are against the communist form of government. How about
That is a
Russia?
pretty good system for them.
You think that is a pretty good system for them? With respect to what we are talking about right now.
To present his opinion pro or con on any of these major subjects. It is the job of a teacher to get the kids to arrive at a conclusion.
I've been hearing about this communism.
Some people think it is a world.
I've been hearing about this communism. One of your students comes up to you after class and says, some people think it is a world conspiracy.
Do you think it would be good or bad if the communists were
Do you think it would be good or bad if the communists were abominating?
Some people think it
What do you
is
think,
wrong.
teacher? Is it right or wrong?
Vicious.
Some people
you
think
say
it's
was
wrong to
wrong?
murder other people. If a student came up to you and said,
It's not in political development.
what do you think, teacher? Is it right
You would not answer the question.
Murder. A I would certainly want
What
to
would
know
your
what
answer
You mean you would not answer the question?
You mean you would not answer the question?
You mean you would not answer the question?
What would your answer be?
Then after I decided the kid was serious...
Or would you say it was all right? Would you answer whether or not it would be right or wrong?
I would tell him I can think...
But if he asked you about stealing?
Would you answer whether or not he was right or wrong?
To steal?
Stealing.
Who started the Korean War?
Do you think it is wrong to steal?
Do you think it is wrong to
Or
steal?
would you tell him to decide for yourself?
Or would you tell him to decide for himself?
Who do you think started it?
Basis of all the evidence now.
I can come to a decision on the basis of...
Now, how many students attend the school at which you are principal? You are assistant principal? You are assistant principal?
What are your duties as assistant principal?
What are your duties?
Do you assign any teachers courses?
Assign any teacher courses.
Do you still do any teaching yourself?
Then you became assistant principal. When was the last
Then
time?
you became assistant principal.
About a year ago.
What did you teach before that? Social studies?
Would you assign any duties from books during the course?
That is other books?
Textbooks or reference material?
Did you assign any reference material?
Any reference material
What
regarding
exercise
communism?
did you use?
Regard to communism.
The
What
last one
textbook?
used was world history.
How do you spell that name? The chairman.
How do you spell that name?
How do you spell that name? The chairman.
MKOWSKI or Y.
That members of the Communist Party
Should be allowed to teach in the public school system?
Do you think that members of the Communist Party
What if we do wrong outside the classroom?
should be allowed to teach in the public school system?
What if they do wrong outside of the classroom?
What if they do wrong outside the classroom?
The Board of Education's policies are, I think the board is wrong. I can't agree with it.
Do you think communists who engage in communist activity outside the classroom?
Yes, assuming there is no effort to
Should
bring...
be allowed to teach.
Should be allowed to teach?
To attend communist meetings? Do you think that should
Now
bar
what if they
them?
ask the children
All right.
outside of the classroom?
First time I
To attend communist meetings, do you think that that should bar them?
That you've heard it for the first time, so answer it for the first time.
That you have heard it for the first time, so answer it
That
for
you
the
have heard
first
it for the
time.
first time, then answer it for the first time. You think they should be fired?
In other words, you think that they should be fired?
In other words, you think they should be fired?
using influence gained in the classroom to carry over to a non-school.
Invited them outside the classroom and attended them outside the
Fired
classroom?
you.
The point is the decision is to be
Let's
made by the
say
trial
you were the
examiner,
trial examiner.
superintendent.
What happens if they found they did?
What happens if they found they did?
Yes.
The congressional committee.
Do you think they
Let's
should
say
be fired
you
if
are
that
the
is the
trial
offense?
examiner.
Should be.
The congressional committee and says, do you
Says,
think that
"I wanna
someone
fight
before
I will not
board-
tell you whether or not I attended communist meetings with my students.
I will not tell you
Says,
whether I
I will
attended
not tell you
communist meetings with
because-
communist students. I said I will not tell you because if I tell you the truth, if you don't understand the question, I will report you to trial.
Have refuses to answer.
Or before this committee, and refuses to answer.
Do you think such a
And
person
refuses
should be
to
retained in the
answer.
his
school
or her
system?
students,
That was
and
the
gives this reason that the answer might
Do you think such a person should be maintained in the school system?
That's a simple question.
Such a person should not be fired.
I know that wasn't
Not
right.
the question.
The school board is wrong.
My question was whether or not
To refuse to say whether they are communists or not.
do you regard communism as a
In other
world?
words,
In deciding the teachers.
should be retained.
In other words, you think teachers should be retained?
Otherwise, the privilege would have no meaning.
Do you regard communism
Using
as
the
a
Fifth
world?
Amendment to be fired.
In other words, you think teachers should be retained?
In other words, you think teachers should be retained.
Mr. Buckley, will
I
you transmit
assume
this
with this
testimony to the Board of
testimony we
Education?
can discharge this.
Mr.
Mr.
Counsel,
Buckley, will
do
you
you want
transmit
to
this
go over the
testimony to the
testimony
Board of
To
Education?
check it for any
Before it is
typographical
transmitted to the
errors.
Board of
Mr.
Education.
Counsel,
Mr. Counsel,
I assume with this testimony they will discharge this man.
we'll check
Do you
it for
want
any
to go over the
typographical
testimony?
errors.
Your wife's testimony is being transmitted.
So there will be
to the Board of
no
Education.
question about the accuracy of the report.
Counsel would care to?
Your wife's
I
testimony
may
is being
say.
transferred to the Board of Education also.
The council would care to. I assume she will be discharged also. We will be glad to have him go over that testimony.
Singer.
Your name is Bertha Singer. Is that your married name or your maiden name? And Benjamin Wolman. Did you know that while they were working at the
Is that your married name or your maiden name?
Is that your married name or your maiden name? And do you know Benjamin Wolman and Diana Wolman?
Did you know that while they were working at the Signal Corps Laboratory?
Do not the particular dates they were working there.
Did you know them
at any time when they were known to you as having employed? I may
at the
say.
Signal Corps Laboratory?
Otherwise, I
I
would tell you.
frankly at this time do not know the particular dates that they were working there.
You are teaching in New York now, are you?
What is your maiden name?
Yes, Brooklyn.
What is your maiden name?
Members
You're
of the
teaching in New
Communist
York
Party.
now, are you?
On
what grounds?
You are teaching in New York now, are you?
You are
Did
teaching
you ever
in
know
New York,
whether or
are
not
you?
Diana Mulder or Benjamin?
On what
What are you
grounds?
doing now?
We're
On what
members of
grounds?
the Communist Party. On what grounds?
Did they ever discuss with you any secret?
Are you now, or have you
Or
ever
other
been?
classified government? What are you doing now?
On the Fifth Amendment? Are you now a member of the Communist Party? On the basis that your answer might tend to incriminate you?
Is that correct?
What does your
On the
husband
Fifth
do?
What does your
Amendment?
husband do?
Is your
Are you
husband
now a member of the Communist Party?
What does your husband do? On the basis that your Is answer your must husband tend to a
What does your
incriminate you? Is that
husband do?
correct? What does your husband
Is your husband a communist?
Is your husband a communist?
In 1931?
How long have you been married?
Would you care to say whether or not you feel communists should be allowed to teach?
How long have you been teaching?
No.
Would you care to say
Aside
Would you
from the
care to say whether or not you feel communists should be allowed to teach?
Weren't you
Would
ever
you care
known
to
by the
say
name
whether or
of
not you
Elizabeth
feel
Smith?
communists should
I
be
guess
allowed
we do
to
not
teach?
need your advice on it anyway. Were you ever known by any other
Aside
name?
from the names Bertha Singer and Bertha Cohen, weren't you ever known by the name of Elizabeth Smith?
The chairman.
The chairman.
What is your full name? What kind of work are you doing?
The chairman.
Vice Counsel Victor Rubin.
What do you teach?
I'm a teacher. I teach at the Center.
What is your full name?
Chairman.
Woolman? Social studies.
What kind of work are you doing now? What do you
Are you
teach?
refusing on the basis of
What
the
do you teach?
self-incrimination section?
Did you know Benjamin Woolman?
Are you refusing on the basis of the
There are many things in the Fifth Amendment.
Given by those patriotic Americans.
Of the Fifth Amendment?
The Bill of Rights 162
That might tend to incriminate
that no
you?
person shall be compelled to testify against himself. I refuse
Whether or
to
not you
answer
feel
on the
that your
grounds of the
answer
question.
might tend to incriminate you?
You're refusing to tell the chair.
I have already indicated that I stand with
Whether or
those
not you
patriotic
feel that your
Americans
answer might
who
tend
wrote
to
the Bill of
incriminate
Rights
you.
Whether or not you
for protection against innocent
Whether or not you feel the answer would incriminate
The
you.
question is,
I have already answered you, Senator.
Whether you feel that your answer will incriminate
You're
you.
refusing
we will
to
have
tell
the record
them.
show
Give
tell
me the answer.
whether
The witness
or not
given
he
the opportunity
thinks
to tell the
the
chair
answer to the question
Whether you feel that your
would
answer might
tend to incriminate you. Whether
And he
or
has
not he
refused to
feels
tell
the
me.
answer might tend to incriminate him.
That the witness
He does not have any
About whether or not he knows Benjamin Woolman, and he has refused to tell me.
and to identify Benjamin Woolman as the man, and
Therefore,
has been here in court identified
whether or not he knows
before
Benjamin
the
Woolman.
committee.
Before the committee,
I just gave a resume of
I just gave a resume of the record.
Communist activities.
and he has refused. Whether or not he feels the answer might tend to
Whether or not he
incriminate
feels
him.
the answer might incriminate him.
Question.
And he refused to answer
And he
that.
refused to answer that.
He refused to tell me. He was ordered to answer the original question.
He was ordered to answer the original
I think the
question.
record is complete as of now on that question.
I think the record is complete as of now.
As far as your interpretation said.